Hello, welcome to another edition of In the Swamp with the Glenwood Gators. My name is Victor Feliciano, and alongside me is Coach Jason Gibson of the Glenwood Gators. And welcome again for our second episode.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
In the Swamp. This time we've got a game under the belt, and this was a great game between Glenwood and Calvary Christian, which the good guys won 22-17. It was a hard-fought battle, and so we're going to do a review of the game for those of you who weren't able to make it out to Len Williams Field over at Calvary in Columbus. And so, Coach, just give us an overview about the game, and then we can break it down a little bit.
Going into the game, they have a great coaching staff, and they had really good players. They had a great quarterback and receiver. And our philosophy going into that game was basically we were going to make them run the football to win the game, and I didn't want them to beat us throwing. And that was our goal. And we went into the game and we put together a pretty good defensive game plan. And, he didn't throw the ball very well. I think he was 11 of 30 passing, or maybe 11 of 33 passing. That's right. Which is pretty good. And that was their strength. And that's what we do. That's what we want to do at Glenwood, is identify what the other team does really well, take that away, and then make them be used to doing something else, make them run the football. And they had to run the football towards the end of the game to win. But then again, at the end of the game, when the game was on the line, they had to go back to throwing it, and we had been shutting it down. I thought we did a good job of doing it, and that was our goal, and we achieved it, and it worked out in our favor.
Well, we were able to videotape it, and it'll actually be following this show, so those of you who were not able to make it to the game, be able to sit back, get some popcorn, and you're going to be able to watch the replay of Glenwood versus Calvary Christian. And we were right there, and so we wanted to just say right off the bat, you guys got 2 points on the defense. You had mentioned that.
It's a great way to start the game. Yeah, their jet sweep was one of their key running plays. And we prepared for it all week long. And the first play of the game, sure enough, they run jet sweep. And we had been practicing it, and we got them for a safety on the first play. It kind of set the tone for the whole game. And they didn't have a first down in the first quarter at all. So, there was two things we were trying to shut down, as I mentioned earlier. One was the pass, one was the jet sweep. And to jump right off the board and get 2 points and take it that way, really worked out well for us. The defense played lights out in the beginning. And
not to give any excuses or anything like that, but one of their key runners did go down on the injury, so that kind of limited their play calling as well. It still helped up for the cause.
Well, yeah, we had game planned against him. I mean, they were going to beat us with somebody else. That was the game plan, and that's what was going to happen. And we were going to shift our focus to number 3, and then once number 3, unfortunately for him, he was a great player, he got hurt, then we shifted our attention to number 9. And we just, and that's kind of how we went about it, and it was a great game, great first game.
And of course, with first game, there's, the nerves, the jitters, and that calls for a lot of penalties. And so.
No, that didn't cause for a lot of penalties. You know what calls for a lot of penalties.
And what's that, Coach?
That's what calls for a lot of penalties. I'm not saying. So, it was 180 yards to 30. So, it's, usually it should be a little more fair. But first game, I guess all the penalties were on us.
Got the safety, got the possession, wasn't able to capitalize, got an interception, but the defense stood up. They got the missed field goal, so we got.
I thought it was a good game for us to be, because we were a game behind. They had already played a full game, so they had it underneath their belt. The biggest jump to me for a team is game 1 to game 2, and we have that opportunity to do it this week. So going into that game, our first game against really anybody in pads, hitting outside of a scrimmage, which was very controlled, I thought they executed pretty well. We dropped 5 passes. We dropped 2 interceptions. That's right. We missed a field goal. We did some things that really could have put the game out of reach, but we did some good things. We actually ran the ball. I made them a huge mistake in the second quarter. We came out and started doing a bunch of 5 wide. Had some people open and we dropped some passes, but should have went back to the running game. I picked that back up in the third quarter, and of course, Cash carried the rest from there.
Yeah, speaking of, we gave up the interception. They got the missed field goal. Mm-hmm. We came back and capitalized with a 34-yard run by Cash Bodner.
Yeah, we had 2 drives. I think the one was 80 yards and one was 90 yards. And we just kept kind of pounding it and pounding it and pounding it. All of a sudden, Cash broke it down there. And then there was a huge 4th and 1. And what I wanted to teach our players was to win games. I don't want our team to learn how to not lose a game, but I want them to win it, if that makes sense. And so it was 4th and 1 on about the 3-yard line, and we went for it. I wanted us to go ahead and get the go-ahead touchdown and win the game. I didn't want to, win by default. And Brandon Mosley made a great first, second, third, fourth effort and dove in the end zone and punched it through.
Cash Boatner with 2 touchdowns, 20 carries, 200 yards. I mean, he was basically a workhorse for the team. You did mention and wanted to just give stats to that. You scored 3 touchdowns, and they were of long drives. They weren't a give me, hey, there was a turnover, you were inside,
Oh, we had a turnover. We had a turnover for a touchdown, but then, the officials blew the ball dead after we were running the other way.
That's right, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. You're getting a little bit ahead of us here, so we want to talk about the drives. There was an 80-yard drive for the touchdown. There was a 68-yard drive, and then a 63-yard drive. So those aren't.
Yeah, I mean, you'll take those. I mean, we were just kind of. That's what they were giving us, so that's what we were doing. And there's so many weapons on our team that I mean, this week it's Cash. Next week it could be Noah Lake, or next week it could be Carrington Huddleston, or next week it could be Latavius Calhoun, or then you got Christian Clausell, then you've got Cameron O'Neal, Trip Day. I mean, pick one. It's just, the problem we have right now is we only have one football, and we have a lot of really good football players. And so we have to learn to be able to play with that and put people in the right position so they can tell me, we had a great kickoff return by Carrington Huddleston. And he came in and just very explosive. I mean, he took it back, and there was another block in the back, another penalty, one of the many we had. And so, it's just so many guys out there to get the ball to. We got to make sure that we can share the wealth.
Right. And you mentioned about penalties, so we'll go ahead and mention about that. If you were at the game, you saw that there were, flags lying.
It's a long.
Leaned a lot more towards the Glenwood side, so I kind of call it home cooking with the side of hash browns, and so they just.
I'm not so much worried about all the penalties, but it was a long game. I mean, it was 11 o'clock by the time we got out of there. It's
a 3-hour game. It did.
Man, it was a little bit faster for a high school game. That's a little unusual.
And I assure you that the game is going to be edited down so you won't have to sit through all 3 hours as we did. But we were happy to overcome all of those. Your team.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the penalties, we lost the turnover battle. I'm really upset about that. I thought, we dropped 2 picks in our hands, and we didn't get the fumble that they fumbled, and we picked up the other. We didn't get that, so that would have been 3 turnovers. But we threw 2 picks, which is, there's an old saying, he'll never throw 3 picks because by the time he throws 2, I'm taking him out. But the 2 turnovers really hurt us. But to turn the ball over twice, to have almost 180 yards in penalties, and to still win the game and have the production we had on offense and defense, you know what? Hey, an ugly win's better than a pretty loss.
Then once you get it cleaned up, can you imagine, how much?
Well, that's the key. Is I think. I mean, I want to sit here and give you the coach's speech and tell you we're going to work. We're got to do this and we're going to do this and we're going day by day and give you all the things that you hear on TV every day about the coach's speech. But they're a lot farther ahead than I thought we were going to be. I'm just being honest. And so my expectations now, unfortunately for them, is they have set the expectations of what they can do at a high standard. So now there's no going back. And it's a little scary. I don't want to peak week 1. I hope this isn't the best we're going to be all season, because then we're in trouble. But if we're going to continually get better and better and better, then there could be a really bright future here for Glenwood.
Well, we are looking forward to being able to show more of the Glenwood Gators throughout the year. We are looking forward to being able to show some of the games live, some of the home games that Glenwood would be on the dock. At the moment, though, we are still on the road, and but there was one moment, and I wanted to kind of pick at you on this, Coach, if that's all right. It was in the second quarter. There was a Spurrier-esque type of motion. The hat felt the turf, and I was just wondering, and of course I wasn't in a position to say, Coach, what's going on, but could you kind of just share
we had to burn 2 timeouts back to back, and they just kind of had call it a brain fart. So to burn 2 timeouts back to back for something we've ran every day in the huddle, we just didn't have the personnel in the game, and I just got frustrated. I don't have a headset on, and I didn't have anything else to throw, so I just kind of threw my hat.
Well, fortunately, that was the last time we got to see that. So, once again,
I knew you were going to pick that up.
So, share with us about what you saw on the defensive side. We talked about
defense was just flying all over the place. They were tracking people down. swarmed to the ball. They did a good job. They did a good job with their technique, was what we stressed. We stressed alignment and assignment and technique, and they performed pretty well. I mean, that, you know, we go up, I think it was 22-10, and we went for 2, which I had to, because we were up by 12. So I wanted to be up by 14, because being up by 13 doesn't really matter.
Right.
And I almost came back to haunt us, because, you know, we don't get it, and it's 22-10. Then they score, now it's 22-17, and then towards the end of the game, they got the ball back. And I'm thinking, I'm going to lose this game 22-23, you know, because of the 5 points. But luckily, we held off. And
oh, we want to talk about that. There was a big key sack with Dykes and Floyd. A big, huge sack that really set Calvary Christian from being able to capitalize on a less than average punt that normally we count on through the kicker.
Yeah, now, that was a good sack, but then they came back and hit us, you know, that final drive. They came back and hit a slant route, got the ball down to the 10-yard line. But the defense just stood up, you know. They figured out how to win. They figured out a way to win the game. And I'm hoping, and this is crazy, but early in the season, in a young program with a young team, that we're building some kind of, you know, mentality of we can win this game. And they did it. And, you know, it's kind of scary.
Was one of the defensive players, third and 22, and pass got into the end zone. Could have easily been touchdown, knocked away.
Oh.
Two times.
Well, yeah, we put Christian Clausel as a wide receiver for us. We put him out there, and well, I mean, number 9 was an advantage for them. He was 6'4". We don't have anybody 6'4" on the defense. So Christian's one of our better athletes. He's our team captain, and we said, Christian, go out there and you follow number 9. Where 9 goes, you go. Bottom line, you know. And he did a great job, and he broke up 2 touchdown passes in that last drive. Him and Carson Allison, and that's the kind of versatility that we have on this team right now. And Christian's only a junior, which is, you know, huge for us. So it was a big play. There's a lot of big plays by everybody. Jack Rhodes, you know, Logan Smith made great plays. Mario Richmond, one of our team captains, Mario Richmond. I mean, just everybody. Jonathan Caldwell stepped up a couple plays, and you know, he's a role player for us on the D-line. He stepped in and made some really good plays. It's fun to watch these kids have some success.
So able to pull off the win on the road against a team that has been a perennial playoff team, knocking on the door in championship. Matter of fact, they scheduled you guys for that reason, so that they would have some better competition in their schedule. And it's a good measuring stick for the Gators coming towards next week. You're going to be going down to Dothan. To North side. And once again, I'm sure we're in a situation, probably know little about them.
I know a little bit. They're a big, strong team. Double tights, they want to run the football. Total opposite of what we just saw. I mean, you're talking, you know, 180 in the spectrum or whatever. And they're going to pose a problem. I think it's going to be a good game. They're undefeated. And, you know, obviously what we'll do is we'll do the same thing we did against Calvary. We'll identify what they do really, really well, and we'll figure out a way to take that away. And if you beat me with something else, then good for you. And that's what we're going to do on defensive. Offensively, we're going to fine-tune what we have. I don't need to mastermind anything and shake things up because we have so many athletes. All I need to do is not get my own way and just get these guys the ball and let them do what they do.
For those of you who are not familiar with Northside, they are, as you mentioned, undefeated. Last year, they finished with a record of 8-4. So this is another team that's not just a.
I heard it's the largest school private school in the state. I think it's right. So we'll see. So I don't know. I'm learning them as I go. But maybe that's a good thing right now because all we do is we continue to focus on Glenwood Gators. Glenwood Gators. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And then that allows us to adjust in the game. And we made some adjustments in the game that were on the fly, and the kids adapted to it, and I like that.
Well, Coach, anything else you want to mention about the upcoming week, preparation-wise, or anything along that line?
It's going to be a grind. Obviously, we got to keep pushing the kids to the limit, to where we got to push them over the limit mentally, and put them in situations that they're uncomfortable with during the week in practice. We have to make them uncomfortable in practice, so when they get in the game, it's comfortable. And it kind of sounds weird, but it's a constant. You know, over and over doing the same things over and over again. And my famous saying that I always tell my kids is, or the players is, you know, fatigue makes cowards of us all. And that's not just the physical aspect of being tired, but fatigue is doing the grind every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but not letting the mental fatigue block you of, oh, I got to do this again. It's got to be like it is the first day of training camp or the first day of school when you're excited to go. You have to recreate that every day, and you have to mentally battle that. That's what I try to do from a psychology standpoint, from a coach, is it's not a grind. It's not, oh, it's Monday. It's Monday, man, I can't wait, you know? And they should be the same way. And if you exude that from you and they can kind of feel that, then you're doing your job.
And if you're interested in following the Gators this weekend but couldn't make the trip to Dothan, wanted to let you know that Coach Dusty Perdue does the play-by-play through an app on the phone. The site is MIXLR, so it's mixlr.com/GW Gators. So that's mixlr.com/GW Gators. So you'll be able to listen along as the Glenwood Gators look for their second win. And at this moment now, we're going to go and feature the CTV Player of the Game, which also happens to be the CTV Player of the Week, Cash Boatner.
My name is John Burnett, play running back. You watching In the Swamp with the Glenwood Gators.
And now we're at the segment of our show, the Player of the Game. And with me is running back Cash Boatner. And excuse us as you see flies coming around through the locker room. It'll probably be flying through us. But Cash Boatner is not only the player of the game, but he is the CTV Player of the Week. 20 carries, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. You can't beat that this week. Congratulations, Cash.
Thank you, sir.
And tell us just about your whole experience. I mean, this was the first game of the season, and then you just came out and showed out.
I had to adjust a lot, you know, and coming into this game, I was like, a bunch of people, you know, counting on me. I got to do what's best for the team, so I just tried as hard as I could to get the win for the team.
Well, tell us about the play, the first touchdown.
It felt great to score. You know, I thought I had it running down the field, but someone caught up to me. But, you know, just God gave me that talent and gave me that chance to get a touchdown, and all the glory goes to Him.
How did it feel when your team came out, you got close, and then your defense shows up and able to get that safety?
Oh, it was great. You know, seeing the team come together like that and us come to one to get the win was great. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Later on in the game, you were able to score another touchdown that pretty much sealed the deal for you guys.
I was surprised that Coach gave me the call to run it in there because, I mean, I just did all I could. You know, we had a close game, came down to it. You got to buckle down and do what you got to do to score.
Cash Boatner, our CTV Player of the Week.
He would give it to Cash right there on the left side. He's running hard. Get in front of him if you want to. Cash Money Boatner from the 17. Touchdown, Gators.
This is Max Rosso, Channel Gatwood, and you're watching In the Swamp with the Gators.
We hope you enjoyed that interview with Cash Boatner, the CTV Player of the Week. Well, I also want to, before we go into one of my favorite segments called Behind the Whistle, wanted to let you know that the Glenwood Gators Booster Club is going to be holding a Boston Butt Sale. Boston Butt Sale. And that's, the pickup date is on September 9th, so tickets are on sale. The price is $20. Of course, all proceeds are going to be helping out Gators Athletics. And so if you're interested, call the school or talk to someone that is affiliated with Glenwood and be able to buy some Boston Butt. So, and now we're going to go once again to Behind the Whistle, and this time we're going to be featuring Coach
Josh McConnell. Josh McConnell's our defensive coordinator and great guy, great coach. I was fortunate enough when I took this job, he was the first one, he was already on staff. And I'm fortunate for him to still be here. We work really great together, and Josh is really sharp with defensive schemes, and he knows his defense. So, and obviously, I mean, if you look at the game Friday night against Calvary, they put on a clinic. So it's very entertaining.
What was even entertaining is when he mentions that I don't talk much, but you're going to see when he gets with that defense, he tells them how it is.
I'm Josh McConnell. I'm the defensive coordinator here at Glenwood High School. Make sure you fire your feet, get your hands on them, going inside release. Make sure you flatten out the shoulder, get on top of the route. Let's go. Ready? Go. Good. Good. Gets outside the cylinder one. Let's go. Go. Flatten him out, get there. Good. Install. Give me that same group of offensive guys I had over there. Remember. All right, purple. Where you at? Inside, great job. Where you at, Calhoun? Outside levers, great. Here we go, base, purple. All right, all I want you to do is run an arrow slant. Arrow slant on the back side. Nice, what are you doing, son? Run! 2 yards to the sideline. That's what you should have said before we ran the play. I'm here, I read it, I know I got one now, okay? I'm coming here, I'm gonna play on top of this. In case he does this, I'm still in position to run with him. If I do this, if I overcommit, unless I see the ball, okay? Obviously jump the ball, but if I overcommit, then he's by me. Get depth, Chaz. Hey, get depth. Play behind that, make him throw it there, okay? You make sure that he doesn't go anything vertical. If he takes vertical, you got to take him. I don't care if you squeeze up. Go, Blake. I don't care if you squeeze out a little bit, but your eyes better be there. Guys, make sure, okay, you're playing at 5, okay? Get at 5, you read him. Your job is him in the running game, okay? Huh? The quarterback, the big tall dude, okay? So I'm just here, I read pass, I'm reading his eyes. Coach shows me this way, I'm gonna fade this way, okay? Make sure I'm in a passing lane, all right? Anything crosses your face, you have it, you knock it out. You understand? Okay, don't travel to get hands on. Now if he releases straight out at you, get something on it. Make sure we line man outside, okay? That gives him a definitive read. If you line up here, he doesn't know whether he's going vertical, whether he's going out, what he's doing. Good, Cash. Don't let him get inside of you. Chase, you and Carson, Blake, you cannot let that inside number 2 get inside of you, okay? You cannot get inside of you. You gotta wall him off and make him go vertical. Good. Good. Hang out at home. All right, let's go. Good. Give Carson some time. Get your hands on him. He releases vertical. It's still a flat foot read. Go. I'm just going to wall him off and run into Carson. Once I get to 10, I'm going to let him go. Find something else. QB draw because we got to sweep him back. We're out of outnumbered. Because I don't want to start. No. You play interior run first. Interior run first. Blake, what are you doing, man? You're like looking back there somewhere. Read him. Let's go again.
Wow.
Good. Good, Chase. Good, Blake. All right, jog back. Because there's nobody in there to wall it off. Okay, so you got to go with it. Okay, we can't do that. Forget that. Okay, it's not that hard of a concept, but let's go base. And we'll see if you can do this. Base. So pay attention. Okay, where are you going? We're slanting strong and a strong right call. Where are you going? There. Where are you going? Strong right call. There. Where are you going? There, you're just playing. Where are you going? There, good. There he is. Shoot, Carson. Good, Jack. But do you know why that happened? Because you're over there and not paying attention. Yeah. Chase! Nickel, nickel, nickel! Hey, get down there. Get down there.
And Coach, thank you so much for coming out, being a part of this show. I know you're under the weather today, so that's why you hadn't seen us shaking hands per se, but he come out as a trooper and able to weather out the
Well, it's always
show.
easier after a win, so I was a little drained. You know, wife would tell I was just a little wore out, but hey, fatigue makes cowards of us all, right? And back to the grind. Here we go.
That's right. Well, thank you again for joining us in the swamp with the Glenwood Gators. I'm Victor Feliciano, Coach Jason Gibson. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Go Gators.